Aggietails, I'm basically a glorified dog walker. Because I'm a dog trainer, I have the experience and the education and the excellent skillmanship for a dog handler to be able to maneuver through stressful situations with dogs. We take the dogs out for walks, but we're not just like your average college student, rover. Like, we're experienced and skilled enough to work them through situations for a common goal in mind. So if your dog needs to work on leash skills, we're not gonna let them just pull us all the way down the sidewalk in the neighborhood if they're reactive to other dogs. You gotta do your research and be prepared, but also do it with the intention of failing. I'd rather fail than not try.
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Kyle Powers here, Haven Real Estate Group at eXp Realty, here with another episode of Local Legends of the Flint Hills, where business meets community. And guys, I'm really excited here. I've got a really exciting guest, Carissa Shields with Aggie Tails. And Carissa, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, of course. So Carissa, Aggie Tails, you've been running this business, and I kind of want to get back to the beginning here, and I want to know, like, where did this all start, right? The love of animals, the love of all this stuff, where did that all start for you?
Well, I guess it starts when I was in high school. I wanted to take my dog to school with me, like everybody does. So he was just a good old black lab farm dog.
Yeah.
And I trained him to be a therapy dog. Took him to the nursing home, visited my grandma with him, and actually got to take him to classes with me in school. And eventually got up to the point where I could take him to school with me at K-State. But that's when I just decided I wanted to learn more about animals and animal science and animal behavior. And I wanted to be a dog trainer. So from high school, my dream was to be a dog trainer, and I'm living the dream. So.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it all started from just wanting to take your dog to school?
Yes, a little bit. And then animal behavior has always been an interest of mine, growing up on a beef cattle farm and just going out and sitting in the feedlot and watching them like Temple Grandin did, and being able to communicate in body language and building relationships with the animals.
Okay. All right. So Carissa, I know that you grew up on a ranch south of town here, and I know that you spent time studying animal science and all that stuff at K-State. Those plus your experiences with working with dogs and stuff previously, how have those experiences led to how you run Aggie Tails and what that looks like for you?
My experience with my education at K-State and my background growing up with animals, along with my experiences working in dog care facilities, helped me shape the business model I have now. For instance, at dog care facilities, even though I think they're a great asset for many dogs, the majority of dogs are not necessarily dog friendly, they're dog selective. Okay. So some dogs I would see succeed in their training goals and their behavior modifications, but others, this overstimulated environment tended to be more detrimental to their behavior. So I thought Aggietails would be a good setup because we're coming to the people's houses, picking up their dog and taking them out for a walk. We're still doing the training and the socialization and impulse control and leash skills and all the stuff that they need, but we're setting them up for success and putting them in environments that are going to be tailored to their individual behavior and their individual personalities.
Okay, awesome. So I guess this is a really good spot too to like, let's talk about like what you guys offer at Aggie Tails, right? Obviously you've got the dog walking, the dog training and things that way, but it sounds like there's a lot of different layers and things that you offer. So I want to give you an opportunity. What do you offer with Aggie Tails?
So I'd say Aggie Tails, I'm basically a glorified dog walker. Because I'm a dog trainer, I have the experience and the education and the excellent skillmanship for a dog handler to be able to maneuver through stressful situations with dogs and also modify their behavior. Okay. So we like to end each experience on a good note. But when I say we're glorified dog walkers, is that we take the dogs out for walks, but we're not just like your average college student, rover. Like, we're experienced and skilled enough to work them through situations for for a common goal in mind. So if your dog needs to work on leash skills, we're not going to let them just pull us all the way down the sidewalk in the neighborhood. If they're reactive to other dogs, people, squirrels, kids, etc., we're going to counter condition their response to those and pair it with positive association. So over time, you're going to see differences in your dog's behavior.
Okay.
Yeah, so our main thing is we take dogs out on walks. I pick up a dog, take him out for about an hour. We start in the neighborhood, and then we work our way up to like going down points, campus, dog-friendly stores if they're at that point in their training, or local parks. We hit linear trail a bunch if we want to work on people passing by, bikes riding by fast. I have several dogs that are reactive to bikes or anything with wheels, so I know exactly where the best locations are to work on that. But it's all for a common goal for whatever the dog needs work on.
Okay. So you're going through, you're picking them up at their home, right? You're not necessarily putting them in your vehicle. You're literally walking them through the neighborhoods and doing that stuff, but you will take them to other locations?
Yeah,
okay.
We'll start in the neighborhood and then we'll work our way up to getting in the vehicle, seatbelt on, head out the window if they like that.
Yeah.
It's a good experience for the dog, and pretty much all of our client dogs love us because they know they're going to have a great time.
Yeah.
Even though they're technically going to a school, they're getting put through work and they're learning something. We're not going to let them get away with bad behaviors, but over time, and I see this like relates to children so much in that way, is that even though they may not like being put through work in the moment, they love that you're setting boundaries for them, and they're going to live up to the standards that you set for them.
Sure. No, I love that. And given, I mean, any dog, I mean, when you're going through and training them, they need to know where their boundaries are. Just like if they're chewing shoes or jumping and doing all that kind of stuff, you need to let them know. So I love that for you guys. So Aggietails isn't just dog walking. You have the ability to train them and work with them and do that stuff. Are you just working on training them while walking, or do you actually have like a separate training opportunity that you come and train them and take care of that stuff?
Yeah, so most of the time we train the dogs on our own and we have a recurring weekly schedule set up, but I do have train the owner sessions, so then they can apply the same things that their dog is learning with us at home themselves, so they're not undoing everything that we're working on.
And just kind of keeping it all the same. No, I like that. So what does that process look like? So let's say somebody looking at, or somebody watching this video says, you know what, I think I really want to hire them. I think I want to look into what that is. What does that process look like for them from starting making the phone call or talking to you guys? Is it a interview process? Is it a sign up and we'll get you taken care of? What does that look like for you?
So it's a free meet and greet, essentially, if you're going to sign up for recurring weekly walks. And what I always suggest is, if you want to just like maintain your dog's leash skills, once a week is probably fine. But if you really want to see improvement in their behavior, 2 to 3 times a week or even up to 5 times a week is great. And that's, I have a side note. Can I say a side note?
Yeah.
Okay, so something that I really like about our business model versus like going to a dog care facility, and again, I don't have anything against facilities. They're great for some dogs, but my target market is for the dogs that are like not able to go to a dog care facility.
Sure.
So the more behavioral challenged or reactive dogs. So what I like is that when I worked in a facility, I would never suggest to bring your dog 5 times a week because it was going to be high stimulating environment and your dog's going to get overstressed. But it's not going to hurt your dog to get walked one time, like for an hour, 5 times a week with us.
Right.
So there's not going to be too many times to sign your dog up for services. So yeah, it looks like the training plan is recurring weekly, and that just goes on until we stop it. And then train the owner sessions are just as needed. I don't have any plan that's set up right now where it's like every 3 weeks or something like that. Mm-hmm. If you have something specific, and it's usually whatever they signed up with their dog in the first place. So if they wanted to work on leash skills or boundary reactivity or getting them used to the crate, stuff like that, then we're going to work on that specifically. And then if they have another issue, I'll suggest like, let's set this up in a train the owner session, and I come by for an hour and a half until I can relay all the information regarding that particular subject to the parent.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. I love that. So, Carissa, over the years, you've worked with a lot of different dogs. You've worked with a lot of different people in different scenarios that way, right? What's something that you've learned that's been really good about helping build trust with those pets and with those animals?
So just like whenever you meet somebody new, a stranger off the street, you're going to have to establish trust before you establish a relationship. And a lot of that is just like getting to know each other, spending time, quality time with each other. But what's different about the way we do it with like humans and dog to handler relationship is that you as the handler, you're in control of the dog, and so they have to really trust that you're going to protect them in any kind of situation.
Right.
So first is relationship building, and I like to take dogs on long line walks and let them have their space. If they want to approach me and get pet or treats, then I will. Every dog is going to be different, so every relationship building journey is going to look different. So if I have a Labrador retriever, like your classic lab, it's not going to take very long for us to become best friends. But if I have a different kind of breed dog that's a little bit anxious and very low confidence, that's what we're training them for too, is to be able to get to know new people, strangers, get out of their neighborhood and out of their box to build confidence. That's the bottom line for all of our dogs. But that's going to start with a lot of walks and just time together and leash handling, and a lot of behavioral problems or leash problems that I see with dogs is they'll want to lead the walk because they don't fully trust the handler. Right. So a lot of pulling issues do come back to that. They want to be able to stay on guard because they don't trust you as the person in charge. Especially if there's other dogs around, they're going to be the one, not all the time, but most dogs will be the one to stand out in front unless they do trust that you have their best interest and their safety in mind.
Yeah, that's good. And actually that does, it does actually lead into a good question. And I'm curious, so like, what is one of the things that most people misunderstand about dogs and their behaviors? Because like that little tidbit right there, like I didn't understand that that's why a dog would go in front versus behind. So that one. So I am curious, what is one of the things that most people misunderstand?
A lot of it's kind of both. People treat dogs like they're kids or like they're humans, but more so like they're adults. So if the dog does something wrong, and this goes back to like management. So if you leave like pizza on the counter and they jump up and they eat it and you get mad at your dog because they should have known better, they know the difference between right and wrong, that's like treating them like an adult or a human. But on the other hand, you got to treat dogs like they're kids, like they're toddlers. So yeah, if I was a toddler and I see pizza on the counter, I'm not going to know if it's not mine or not. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to eat it. So you got to remember that they are able to live up to the standards that you set for them, and you should set standards and boundaries for them just like you would with human beings, and communicate and respect them just as you would with real human children. Yeah. But also remember they're like toddlers. So you got to set them up for success and raise the standards high, but not way out of their reach.
Right. Okay, that's nice. And I think one of the things, and I'm curious too, like what are your techniques, right? Like you got to set the boundaries, you said that. What are your techniques? Like if I hand my dog over to you to go walk it, train it, take care of it that way, are you, like some people beat their dogs, some people spray them with water, those kinds of things. I guess what specific techniques are you using to?
Well, both of those I don't do. So positive.
I didn't expect.
Yes, good. So to answer your question, positive reinforcement based scientific techniques are what I use. I learned first when I became a dog trainer by clicker training or marker training. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard of it. I mean, I don't.
Yeah. So basically, it's positive association with the sound of a clicker, or in the case that I use and the work that I do today is marker training. So I say yes if a dog does a behavior I'd like them to do. So for example, if a dog sits, I say yes when their butt hits the ground, and then I follow up with a food reward. If it's not a food reward, it's either a toy reward, depending on what motivates the dog. So some dogs are going to be more high prey or toy driven rather than food. But most dogs, in most cases, are food driven. So I usually carry a sack of a variety of treats with me and some kibble to motivate them to do the things that I want them to do. So marker training is marking the behavior and then following up with a food reward, which is positive reinforcement.
Nice. I love that. Okay, so one of the things, shifting gears a little bit, one of the things that you mentioned to me about what you do and that you kind of enjoy is working with dogs during weddings. Okay. Right? And so I would like to talk about that. Two questions in that one is how did that come about, and what does that look like for somebody?
Well, I know whenever it comes to like wedding planning, both my sisters have gotten married recently, and so both of them actually had their dogs at their weddings. And most people today love their pets, cats and dogs, and want them to be a part of their big day somehow. So the idea came about when my first sister got married, and we were wondering, okay, who's going to handle Delilah? Like, Delilah's just this little happy staffy, and she gets along with everybody, but somebody needs to handle her that knows her well enough, but that's not in the wedding party. So it's always a struggle for you to find that kind of person that you can trust with your dog, but that's not so close to you that's not in the wedding party. So that's always kind of difficult. I think a cousin ended up walking her around, and she was a very happy girl. So this came about, I've actually just had not former clients, but like clients whose dog I have. Dogs sit in the past. They asked me if I did offer this, and at the time I didn't, but I'm like, I guess I can now. So they trust me because they trust me with their dogs. Their dogs already have a relationship with me, and I can handle their dogs. So that's how I got my first client, and then I got my second wedding day of wedding handler with them, and we actually set up a whole training process months in advance. Yeah. So the nice thing, are you familiar with Liquid Art Winery?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is where their wedding was. The nice thing about that location is that I was able to take their dogs out for their weekly training walks at the location probably a month or two prior to the actual wedding, so then we can practice sending them down the aisle. They were the ring bearers, so whenever they called for the ring bearers, we released them down the aisle from a starting point, and then up until they got up to the altar to hand off the rings to mom and dad. And we got to practice it on a weekly basis, so the day of the wedding they were already used to the venue, and they didn't have to go and sniff around the area or get distracted, and they knew exactly what was asked of them. So that was a fun part for that.
That's awesome.
And they're still my regular clients.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you get to, and that's something that you get to do too, that you can, like you said, you get to be around the special day, you get to be there with the dogs, you get them taken care of as well. So are you taking have you heard of someone taking a cat to a wedding? Because that's new to me. I've never heard of a cat going to a wedding.
Client that I was mentioning, they had their cats on leashes and harnesses, and their dogs with them in their engagement photos, and it was so cute. I love it when people like include their cats as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Carissa, running a service-based industry, you have relationships with clients, right? Relationships with the dogs, relationships with the owners, and relationships just in general with that whole dynamic, right? One of the things that I'm curious about, obviously we just talked about the wedding and going through all that stuff. Maybe it is that moment, maybe it's something different, but what have been one of your favorite moments to be able to see as you've been running this business?
So many. I do like to have a relationship built with the clients. At this point in time, our communication is just based off of texting, which I wanted to move to a platform, but the thing that stops me the most is the rapport that I get.
Sure.
So I get videos of their dogs working on something that like we sent home as like homework, or just a picture of them connecting with other dogs, or with like, in family gatherings like Christmas and such. And it's sometimes it's a major improvement to where like, wow, they couldn't do that a year ago. So cool. It's really great to see that kind of improvement pictures and the communication. And that also allows us to, if I have a client that has just a simple question, they could just text me like, hey, what would you do?
Sure.
Then I can easily text back if it doesn't require a whole lesson. But I love also being able to see the dog's improvement and then just connecting with the family. So, for example, I've had this one dog, this black German Shepherd, I've been training him for years. And I remember when it was just the parents, just the two humans, the couple that had him, and then they had their first baby boy and then their second baby boy. And so it's been nice to see their kids grow up as well. And then they got neighbors that came in and their neighbors had kids. And so I'm like on the outside of everything. So I have nieces and nephews, so I love seeing all the kids grow up around them. And then also managing the dog to make sure that they're still dog friendly and they're getting accustomed to the young ones running around.
Sure. So. No, I love that. And I mean, it's a big piece of it, right? In any business, I mean, having those relationships and continuing relationships is really neat. So I love that for you. So I want to know why Manhattan, right? Manhattan is a fantastic spot. It's home to a lot of different people. But why did you choose to start Aggietails in Manhattan?
Okay. Well, I liked Manhattan. I came here to go to K-State, got my degree in animal science in 2016. So this year actually marks a decade since I've been living here.
It's crazy.
Yes. I feel like I'm like finally a part of the community.
Yeah.
And I just love the feel of Manhattan because it's a big, small town.
Yep.
And coming from a very small rural community, I only had 13 people in my graduating class.
It's crazy.
So we had to drive an hour to get to a grocery store. So I like the convenience of living in a bigger city or a bigger town, but still the small town atmosphere.
Yeah. And that's Manhattan. I say it all the time in these videos and stuff. It's a big, small town. You have just about everything you have. And for you, I think you have a lot of clientele. Number one, we are an ag community, right? So I think having that clientele that loves the pets, loves the animals, loves all that stuff gives you an opportunity to grow your business as well. So, no, I love that. One thing I always like to ask is kind of, and we're kind of towards the end of it here, but I always want to know too, what have been some of the challenges that you've run into with your business?
Challenges, let's see. I guess just like the business side of things because, and I have to give a shout out to my sister, Brenna. I wouldn't have done this without her at all. Like I just started out freelancing dog walking and dog sitting just as people asked me.
Sure.
She asked the hard questions like, do you have insurance? How are you going to claim this on your taxes? And like all this important stuff. And I'm like, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. So she does the business side of things. So she does the payroll for my employees. Nice. And myself and taxes and all that. And then I do the fun stuff though. So I get to work with the dogs and schedule the clients and schedule my employees. So I guess a hard part that I'm encountering now, well, first let me answer your first question. The hardest part so far was just getting started. And then crediting me starting to my sister. I wouldn't have done it without her pushing me to. Yeah. So I don't consider myself a self-motivator, but I think I am. I just that's my biggest critique.
Yeah.
But anyways, having somebody else to push me was a huge help. And then my biggest problem I'm encountering now is just finding more people that are trustworthy and accredited and experienced like myself, and getting them on board as a full-time employee, and really getting my clients to trust them as well.
Yeah.
Because they already trust me, so it's a lot of responsibility. So they're like, we will trust anybody you trust. I'm like, okay, great. I hope I pick the right person. So
yeah. No, and that's a big one, right? I mean, as any business expands and grows, I think that's a big piece of it for most people, is just understanding, like, as a business owner, who you put out there is a reflection of you and a reflection of your company. And so I think that's a big one. I love that. That's a good one for you too. At this time, I want to give you an opportunity to give somebody or anybody watching this, give them, how do they get a hold of you? Phone number, email, website, Facebook, whatever that is. How do they get best a hold of you to set an appointment with you?
So the best place to contact me or to get started is to find my website at pawsitivehospitality.com/Aggietails. And Pawsitive Hospitality is spelled like PAWSITIVE, so PAW like paw, and then hospitality with PET, so HOSPETALITY, so pet. We like puns around here. So pawsitivehospitality.com/Aggietails, and you'll find an initial contact form that you can fill out. Give me your information, and then we can start texting from there or phone call. My number is 620-323-0217.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you have an email? Or will they all come with the contact info?
That will be on the contact info form.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. All right, well that's great. And so kind of before we kind of wrap up, there's a couple questions I always love. And my first question for you is anybody that's looking to start a business, right? You've been in the business now for a little over 3 years now. Anybody looking to start a business, maybe it's pet related, maybe it's something completely different. What piece of advice would you give to somebody that's looking to start their entrepreneurial journey?
Let's see, I guess you gotta do your research and be prepared, but also don't hold yourself back and just go ahead and do it, because just do it with the intention of failing, because if the fear of failing is holding you back, I'd rather fail than not try.
Yeah, I love that. So, and then kind of a new thing I wanted to ask now is this one, and it is, what does Aggietails mean to you, and then what does that future look like for you?
Okay. Let's see. Well, I like Aggietails, especially for Manhattan, because because of the name, it's already Manhattan focused. It's a play off of Aggieville. I like to see it incorporate pet parents and their love of their dog, and then getting them out in the community more. So I'd really love, the goal is to see Manhattan become more pet friendly place. I'd love to see the mall become more pet friendly, and just get pet parents more comfortable with walking their dogs, socializing them in the correct manner, and getting out and seeing the community more and giving their dog the best life that you can have from Manhattan.
No, I love that. And then what does the future look like for you, for Aggietails, and what does that look like?
Well, we're continuously growing and adding more employees more and more. In the future, I'd like to be able to see this as passive income, where I can still work with dogs and
Sure.
as much as I need to, but be able to have this and then also raise a family in the future for myself. That's more a long-term goal. I also do a little bit with photography and taking photos of dogs and their families. On the side too, it's called pawtography, so another pun for you. And maybe in the future, long-term, different branches and different communities, but I really like expanding maybe more businesses in Manhattan.
No, I love that. Very cool. Before we kind of wrap it up, is there anything else you want to add to the video?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's fantastic. So again, Carissa, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate you showing up here and kind of talking to us about Aggietails and what that means to you and what it means to the dog training and the dog walking, and how, because I think it is important, right? I mean, you get so many times, both toddlers and pets, where it's you look at them and you're you just need to do this thing and to make them a little bit better, a little bit more socialized and things that way. So I love that you have seen that need, put that need out there and said, okay, I can help fix that, right? And I think that's a really neat thing that you're doing here with the pet community, because we do. I mean, dogs have really become a big piece of our lives.
Yes.
For a lot of people, it always has been, but even more so now with all the additional things that come with that, right? So I love that you're out there doing that stuff, and I want to congratulate you on taking something and making it into a business and giving it that opportunity and putting it to life here in Manhattan. So congratulations on that one. I love what you're doing with that one. And for you guys watching, I just want to say thank you so much for watching to this point. I really do appreciate it, and I want to say thank you again for spending time here with Carissa and I. And I hope that you reach out to her, right? I hope you share this video with somebody who might be just thinking about, you know what, my dog doesn't get enough exercise, or you know what, I need a little bit more training with the dog. I need to understand a little bit things. She's here. You heard her. She will help you train your own pet, or she will take care of the pet for you and help you understand what that looks like. So please reach out to her and her company just to kind of see a little bit more about that one. So if you do enjoy this content and you do want to see more of it, we do every other week we try to list new videos and things that way. So please go ahead and hit subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit that little bell so you get notified of any future content. And please, 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 if you know somebody who is interested or just thinking about Aggietails or wants to know a little bit more about what they are, share this video with them so they understand a little bit about who Carissa is and what it is, the person behind the leash, if you will, on that one. And then that way you can understand how much care she gives to the dogs and to your pets, and understand that it isn't just, oh, I'm gonna get your dog some exercise. She's there to help you understand your pets a little bit more. She has the background with that one, and then it helps your dog and pets understand a little bit what their boundaries are and things there. So again, you guys, please, and thank you so much for watching this one. Please share this video with somebody. Carissa, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining me today. And then if anything else, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.